You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com. You found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
T to the B, T to the B, T to the B, T to the B. Welcome you to another edition. Not subtraction. As we welcome you to another edition, my name's Tony Basilio, fired up, focused, and prepared to be with you on a D to the G to the G Monday. And the question for Bino Jeff Henderson, the question before Bino Jeff is the following. Bino Jeff and the living listener, what are you more excited about? Pick one, Bino. DGG's announcement or Beanstar the Great? Are you more excited for the SEC Media Week, which gets underway, and Josh Heupel meets the depressed today? Bino, where are you?
Oh, it's easily DGG's announcement, Tony. I can't think of probably more than 10,000 things that I'm more excited about than the SEC meetings.
I mean, I would rather talk about the explosive diarrhea causing lettuce outbreak from the Taco Bell in Dearborn, Michigan, okay, Bino, than I would talk about the SEC media meetings.
Yeah, well, they'll be over quicker and there'll be more come out of it.
So here we are. Matt Dixon 22 has made his debut today. Dixon's now on YouTube, busting my, shall we say, cojones. And Matt Dixon asked the following: Basilio, give me an air quality alert from where you are, because I remain in Pennsylvania. And finally, my brother looked at me last night and he said, now look, our beach trip is in early August. Are you going back to Knoxville? Are you going to stay here for like 5 weeks? I said, well, I'm glad you asked me that. Because he had his birthday Saturday night, and one of my cousins was at his birthday, and she says to me, so when are you going back? I said, no, did he ask you to ask me that? She kind of smiled at me. She said, no. I said, thinking, well, I didn't answer her question, so I'm going to have to answer his. And I said, well, I think you got me to my brother till mid-August. And my brother Steve was cute the other day, Bino, when I was with him. He said, Tony, stay in Pennsylvania for a long time, forever. Steve loves it because we get to hang out twice a week, Bino. We're increasing his record collection. He's gotten to go swim a few times, and every time we're together, he gets himself a medium pizza. The guy started at fullback, and he's going to end up in the 2 technique before it's over, Beanstar.
So great, Tony, the whole thing. I'm so happy that you're getting an extended visit with your family. I don't know at what point Rich tells you, hey, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Closing time. It's going to be closing time. Why did Laura take my camera off? What's going on here? What have I done to lose my camera? Matt, since you asked, the air quality where I'm at today, and I'm learning a lot about particles in the air. Bino, the other day, it was over 400, okay? Today it's 27, which is fair. The other day it was everybody get inside the other day. And I've never smelled air like that in my life. Oh, she's telling me to mute my StreamYard. Okay, there I am. I'm back, sweetie. You can bring it back up. So here we are. We're pumped. I do want to congratulate that we have, if you go to tclub.team, Bino, we have a laydown lineman that's been awarded, a trophy rather, that's been minted. He designed it to look like Peter Griffin from The Family Guy in the scene where he falls and he hurts his knee. And Bino, your thoughts on the laydown lineman trophy, which debuted today in the blog. Your thoughts on the laydown lineman trophy, Beanstar?
Oh, I saw it, Tony, and I think it's beautiful. And I think it'll be coveted.
I mean, and we're going to track it. We're going to track it every step of the way. And we're going to do it. And it's going to be absolutely next level. So, you know, it's okay to have fun with that, right?
Absolutely, Tony. It's comical that it goes on. I don't know. I don't know why anybody would have any problem with us making fun of that. It is ridiculous.
In honor of DGG, in honor of the man that Matt Dixon has dubbed the Canadian Wildfire. And this does feel like a good old recruiting battle. I've got to say, whoever said that last week, I got to say, I agree with that. This feels like a good old recruiting battle. By the way, James Clausen makes his Basilio show debut on Wednesday, half past the hour on Wednesday. And we're greatly looking forward to that. And and I want to celebrate with him the job they've done in this era of keeping our University of Tennessee front and center. I also want to do a shout out today to my man Joel at Proper Popcorn. His son Everett had a health setback here recently. And Joel, you're on my heart and on my mind, brother. And we're praying for you, and his son's fighting through it. And God bless you, my man. And Everett, I want you to know we're rooting you on. And get back on the baseball field, my friend. We're excited about what you're going to do. 865-200-5402. Bino, did you watch yesterday's World Cup finale?
I did not, Tony.
You didn't miss anything.
I walked into a sandwich shop in Lenore City and looked up, and it was 0-0. There was a young man who worked at this sandwich shop who obviously had some money on the game. There weren't many people in there. He was standing in front of the TV dying 1,000 deaths. It was like at the 82-minute mark, nothing to nothing. 0-0, I guess, is what I'm supposed to say.
You know, at the end of it all, Beanstar, I sit here. And by the way, we're going to start previewing this week different SEC guests. But when you get outshot like 21-0 or whatever it was, I mean, there's no poo-pooing that. And then Argentina tried to turn it into, they were just filthy yesterday, just all the stuff they were doing, and they were beat. I mean, they got beat on the field. Here's the thing that's great, okay? And this is the great thing that I love about watching that tournament. This Messi guy, his team's getting outshot in whatever it is, 19 or 20 shots on goal to none. He was still unbelievable yesterday. The passes he was making, the crazy vision he has, just crazy good. Just crazy good. The Spanish group, Bino, they reminded me defensively of like Curry and Copeland, 1993 Alabama. Like you were not going to possess the ball against them. You were not going to move the ball downfield against them. It was not happening. Not happening, Beanstar. And there's something to be said for that.
I read somewhere that Argentina got very, very few shots on goal. So Spain was just stifling defensively yesterday, huh?
Hey, Matt Dixon, our air quality today here is fair, which is yesterday I got out in it for about 5 hours after being cooped up for 3 days. I was a good little boy. Throaty today said he wanted to borrow from Bino, and he wanted to go he wanted to categorize the coaches. He says the most entertaining, he said the young coaches, Will Stein, Kentucky, Sumrall, Florida, Pete Golding of Ole Miss. He likes how rough around the edges Golding is. He said, I'm sure he's gotten some media training since he's become the head coach in Oxford. These guys, Bino, this week are very boring. Not only is it an average group of SEC coaches, it's an extremely boring group of coaches. You know, one thing happened the other day in the PGA with Bryson DeChambeau, who got, and I'm sure a lot of people listening to me like Bryson DeChambeau, but he got caught cheating the other day. And we can debate that, but he tramped down the line, the fescue, so he could get a good backswing. And you have to do that from time to time. Cheating ain't easy. But Bryson, and my son loves Bryson DeChambeau because he makes, videos, and he's a blowhard. Bryson DeChambeau got caught cheating, and Rory McIlroy went up there and ripped him. Said he's performative, he's fake, he's fraudulent, he's phony. Bino, why don't we ever see anything like that from these SEC coaches? Because we would all tune in and watch it. That year that Nick Saban got really jealous of, what was the guy's name at A&M? The guy looked like Mick Jagger. Jimbo Fisher. Yeah. That was fun. That if you told me stuff like that was going to happen, I'd watch every minute of it, Beanstar.
Yeah, I don't know why, Tony. It seems like maybe it's because of it, but because there's so much more media, so many more platforms that people seem to be afraid to kind of open up. I mean,
I want to go through it. Yeah,
football coaches especially have always been kind of a untrusting bunch, but they seem to be afraid to just kind of be who they are.
They seem to be edgier, Bino, when they were working for a couple $100,000 a year versus now. And I guess it's the old saying: when you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose. Because all these guys have something. All these guys have generational wealth that they're fighting for, and every year that Josh Heupel can stay here, I want people to think about this now, and I'm not knocking Josh Heupel, but he adds another $9 million. Think about that. Why in the world would you rock the boat when you get the wheel going and you get that 9 million and 9 more and 9 more and 9 more? Let's say the government takes half of it, 4.5 million in your bank. Hey, that ain't bad. That ain't a bad way to go. But I digress. Most comfortable in their own skin, Bino. These are Orange Throat's categorization of these coaches this week. He's got Kirby Smart, Mike Elko from A&M, and Clark Lee of Vandy. Beanstar, how do you plead to that?
I think those are great selections. I think Elko is that way by nature. I think Kirby's so good that he doesn't have to worry. And Lee couldn't be in a better situation.
Perfect.
He's in the spot he grew up in.
Lee did a really smart thing in the offseason, and you can't beat happy, as you like to say. And I wish more of these guys would do that, stay in one place for a while. But you got to always restart your clock. Yeah, Kirby Smart's not afraid to call things out. He's also not afraid, when he went down Georgia, one of the first things he did was change the shield laws. I mean, he's not afraid to sort of let it all hang out. It's all about winning down there. They've got their own, and I'm not making light of this. They had a terrible tragedy, but the driving academy continues. The kid that plays for the Eagles got caught going 130 miles an hour here not too long ago. Most nerdy in the league, Bino. Eli, drink a fifth of Missouri. Yeah. You think Heupel, when that little squint-eyed nerd walked out there and said to him, "I stand on business," coach, was thinking, Eli, I would love for you to come say that to my face when we're not at the 50-yard line. Because, buddy, I would give you permanent contact lenses. Can you imagine what Heupel told his friends when that video circulated? Some of the conversations he had.
I'd like to.
That little squint-eyed nerd. No offense to squint-eyed nerds everywhere. I love you, especially a lot of you YouTubers. Most likely to need a realtor, Beanstar. Shane Beamer, South Carolina. Jeff, I drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. A Mississippi mistake. Throaty throws Comrade Golish in there and Ryan Silverfield of Archie. How about Comrade Golish, Bino, drawing most likely to need a realtor? And he hasn't even coached a game in the league yet, Beanstar. You buying, selling, or trading Comrade Golish, who Cape Nealon's got a chance to launch a guy, Bino. I don't know if you've thought about that, but the old Cape might be back open.
I'll buy the first two, Tony. I'm selling the two first timers. I think they're going to get just a little bit of breathing room. Although Golish is at Auburn, so you never know.
Golish doesn't play nicely with others. He's very bristly. And I don't think he's going to be a warm, fuzzy guy that's going to let Yellowwood and some of the other people inside their apparati sort of push him around. So I'm going to agree with the throat here. I think he's going to be a short-termer there. But we'll see. If he wins, it's all forgiven. Most pressure. Now, Bino, we've got a guest today coming up today on the show by the name of David Eckert, who is a horns writer. And Throaty says most pressure from the coaching population rests with Texas this year. I agree with that, Beanstar. What do you think?
I do as well, Tony. They've got a quarterback that is going to bring tremendous attention on it. They've got a team that people think is capable of winning the whole thing. They've been a close but no cigar program for a while. So, and Sarkisian's been a close but no cigar coach for a while.
It's unbelievable, Andy. So David Eckert's going to join Horns 247, and we'll talk with him about the enormity of what's in front of Texas this year. This is their 2027 for us on steroids. When you look at, since Vince Young led them to a national title, VY2K, or whatever they called him, since that happened, if you look at it, and by the way, when I was out junking a couple months back, Alex Myers is a big Titans fan. I found him being a framed Vince Young autographed jersey with a shadow box of a photo and the jersey. Titans like jersey. And it was, I think, one of those old Oiler jerseys, if I'm not mistaken, but it was beautiful colors. You know what I paid for that thing, Bino? For Alex?
$350.
I got that thing for $35. Now you gonna tell me Vince Young? He's the guy that came to Philly and called their team a dream team, and then subsequently got Chip Kelly fired that year. Dream team. But we're going to talk with a Texas guest at noon today and really unpack how much pressure is on Texas this year, how key those 2 early season games are. And you know what? Matt Dixon, he's kind of chiding me, and he's joined the YouTube ranks now. You think, he's crossed over to the dark side. I'm not being a sheep here. That game's in play, Bino, which I didn't think I'd feel that way. It just kind of makes me angry we don't have a veteran quarterback, because that game would really be in play if we had a veteran quarterback. Because it's a noon start. I love that noon window the more I think about it. Some of you are going, well, I looked it up and it doesn't really. I'm not worried about your facts and figures. I'm worried about my vibe. Bino, do you feel the same way about the Texas game, or did you take your pen and put loss next to it?
No, I absolutely think it's a game that's in play, Tony. I will likely pick Tennessee to lose the game when I do a preseason prediction grouping, but I without question think it's a game in play. If we get good quarterback play, I think that we can go back, even though our schedule is very difficult there. I think we can go back and be a team that can defend our home turf if we get quality quarterback play.
And that's a sign of a healthy program. Of course, is there such a thing as a program anymore? It's such a year-to-year proposition. I don't know. But the sign of a healthy program is I protect my home turf. You don't come into my stadium and win. Most teams have trouble winning on the road in this league. That's a thing. Most of the upper echelon teams don't lose in their building. They just don't. That's a sign of a sick program. Like, for instance, if Tennessee loses 2 or 3 home games this year, Bino, twice in a row, that's a sign of a very kind of a sick program, I think. Even though we're not in a program era anymore, it's not a good sign.
No, I think that's a concern, Tony, when you begin to the inability to protect your house comes into play. It's something Josh Heupel's teams had done extremely well until last season.
The other most pressure is Lane Kiffin. And I agree with the throat. Lane Kiffin walks into a situation where he could be out of a job in 2 years. Now, Lane Kiffin always puts himself in these volatile situations. That Raider job, when he took it and he wasn't ready, was a volatile situation. The Tennessee job, we would have loved him forever, but he had to jump to USC. Why? Volatile situation. And now he's back in the big time, because really the Ole Miss job, Mark and Colombo, don't cover your ears. That's not a big time job in this league. Now he did a big time job there, but it's not a big time job in this league. You might be, Mark, expecting Pete Golding to do big time things, but it ain't going to happen. You know it, and I know it. Worst fit, Bino. I cannot figure out, and we're going to talk some Alabama later in the week. I cannot figure out that extension for Kalen DeBoer for the life of me. Makes no sense.
Wasn't it 7 years, Tony?
Yeah, and
7
huge
years.
money. Huge money. Huge money. This week in Tampa, most likely to make you go to sleep, Bino. You're not going to like this, but Throaty writes, that's very easy. Our guy Heupel and Brett Venables of Oklahoma.
Hey, listen, I've been a Heupel disciple the entire time he's been here, but I've never claimed he was entertaining, so I'm not offended by that.
And if you go below what the throat wrote, you'll see that we need your tickets for the Amachi tailgate at the Kennesaw State game, September 19. Amachi Knoxville, walks alongside youth who have one or both parents in prison, connecting them with mentors and support. Opportunities like what we're doing here, it just means everything to these kids. And Bino's seen it. Hundreds of our listeners have seen it down through the years, have stopped by the tailgate. And these kids are going to get a chance to experience a night game in Neyland Stadium, which is going to be like the 7th game of the World Series to them. And I really want to impress upon you that you don't need to go to that game. But these kids do. And look, we could easily raise the money and buy the ticket. That's not the point. No, we're not going to raise the money and buy the tickets. Because in the immortal words of Bobby Dooley, it takes a village. And with that in mind, I need you to go to tclub.team. I need you to copy Amachi Brooks, Amachi Tailgate Ticks at gmail.com, Amachi Tailgate Ticks at gmail.com. And I need you to jump in there and get involved. And we need your tickets. I need you to ask your friends. I need you to ask your family. I need you to ask around. It is DGG week. In honor of that, Bino and myself and you at 865-200-5402 are going to bring it back. Keep it alive. You know what's funny about looking at running backs? You can't look at stats when it comes to running backs. Statistics and the running back position have little correlation in terms of effectiveness, especially across these eras. The numbers these days are so inflated in college football. Isn't that an interesting thing, Bino, when you look at the record books at these schools?
It is, Tony. I was kind of glancing at as I was putting my thoughts together. I kind of glanced at yards per carry and how many yards per carry some of our recent guys who were good running backs had above and beyond what the old school guys had. But I can't believe they were in the same category as a play.
865-200-5402. That's exactly right. And so what we're going to do is, on the other side, we're going to give our best running backs, and then we're going to list our favorite running backs. And fullbacks count. And I need 2 each from you. 2, the best you've seen in your lifetime at Tennessee, and then the best, and then your favorite 2 backs during your time at Tennessee. Because I was thinking about my favorites, and 2 of my favorites are really fullbacks. So I'm going to have to kick one fullback out and put a running back in there. And then when we do best, there are just so many to choose from. I got here when Leroy Thompson, who's a great dude, lives in Knoxville. But Leroy Who bumper stickers, or the buttons, Bino, outside the stadium. People were wearing those. Leroy Who. And the late, great Reggie Cobb was a great player in his own right, Bino. A great player.
Absolutely, Tony. Absolutely. And this exercise was extremely difficult because Tennessee's had a bunch of really, really good running backs, but I had him in the top 5, my top 5.
We'll come back. We'll get Bino's list. I want to hear from you at 865-200-5402. The Divine Miss L is on the board today. David Eckert coming up on the High Noon Hotline. It's going to be unbelievable, Andy. Tomorrow's a Hoops Tuesday over at tclub.team with about a 1,300-word report, a full breakdown on camp thus far, how guys are progressing, what each guy needs to work on. I think you'll find it interesting. We're going to continue on the other side. This is your Basilio show on a Monday. Tell a friend. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. Personally, I'm partial black cherry and pineapple. 14 flavors. That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week. In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half. Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, blood orange. High Noon real vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a T-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall. When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
With Gary Sturm. He's with Mortgage Investors Group, making our community a better place every day. Gary, you've been at it 32 years, man.
Yes, Tony, I've been at Mortgage Investors Group for 32 years. We've known each other since, back in the 80s, right?
And we've gotten to know each other recently as our family has gotten involved with another mortgage. Through that whole process, you were a prince, just like Jeker. when he called you at 3 o'clock in the morning after a Tennessee loss. You've been giving your phone number out for a couple decades. And why is that, Gary?
This is the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make. You don't want to trust somebody online, some 800 number. You want to call somebody like myself that's going to give you my number, and you can call me anytime. I'm there to help you. I'm here to help you and your family, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your trust in me. You can call me anytime. You can be like Jeker and call me at 2 a.m. and complain about the balls just like he did. I'd rather you call me about a mortgage, but that's okay. If you want to cry about the balls, we can do that too. I'm a ball at heart. You know that. And if you want to come in and meet with me face to face, I'm here. If you want to do it online, I'm here. That's fine. If you're curious if you can qualify to buy a house, people know the housing market's tough. That's what I'm here for. There's no obligation. You can call me anytime. I get you pre-qualified. Or maybe you've got a mortgage and you're thinking about refinancing. Maybe you want to shorten the term. Maybe you want to go to a 15-year. Who knows? But again, that's what I'm here for. It's what I've been here for 32 years. My number is 865-660-2648. It's 865-660-2648.
Gary Storm at Mortgage Investors Group, going to take great care of you.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, get 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair when you schedule service with Pipe Wrench Home Services. Our licensed technicians are equipped to diagnose the issue, explain your options, and get the repair done right the first time. Don't let a small problem turn into a major headache. That strange noise from your air conditioner, the water heater that's not keeping up, or the drain that keeps backing up won't fix itself. The longer you wait, the bigger the problem can become. At Pipe Wrench Home Services, we make repairs simple with friendly technicians and fast, reliable service that you can count on. We'll arrive ready to identify the problem and get your home back to normal as quickly as possible. Take advantage of 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair and schedule your appointment today at pipewrench.com. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. Restrictions may apply. Eligible for repairs up to $5,000. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
T to the B back with you, 865-200-5402. In honor of DWG Week, as we've declared it, and it is DWG Week here on your Tony Basilio show. We'll be live Wednesday. Bino, you think that's a good move by us going live, going all in and going live? What do you think, Beanstar?
Oh, I do, Tony, because I think you said it earlier in the show. This has got an old school recruiting battle feel to it that is kind of missing these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you should go live.
You know, Matt and them were dissuading me from it, you know? And I was like, I just don't get it. I mean, they were like, you don't need to do that. And Sexy Exy was like, oh, no. I'm in with you. And then tomorrow on the show, we're going to talk and break it down scientifically with the great Ryan Callahan, who's going to jump in there and join us. And we're going to get into that whole deal with him because, look, I mean, people say, well, I'm sick of you talking about it. Have a tough turkey. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you're sick of me talking about it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is a huge week for Tennessee. Huge opportunity here. You know, it's like, sorry, I'm doing two things at once here. I'm actually working on my hoops thing tomorrow. I'm sending this to someone for perusal. I mean, one of my things that I try and do when I do like a report like this is to try and get folks that are on the ground to look at it and say, hey, what do you think of this? I'm running it by 3 or 4 different people today. Hopefully a couple of them get back to me. In other words, I want what you read tomorrow to be pretty well researched. So you're going to hear me punching up a few things during the show today. All right, Bino, without further ado, give me your 3 best running backs of your lifetime. And did you put these on paper, Bino, or did you just scroll them down? Or can you do me a little blog entry for it? Is that possible?
Sure, I can do that, Tony.
In honor of DGG, because I think I'll run that like Wednesday along with Taylor stuff. Because this DGG thing is ginormous, y'all. It's just ginormous. I don't even know what to tell you. It's ginormous. Like Bino doesn't get into this, all this recruiting stuff. But he's going to sit there with a straight face. Unlike Bino, what's up with Matt Dixon? Is he just like a curmudgeon at the age of 30? I mean, what are we doing, man? Where did you find that guy?
I mean, Tony, Matt is a valued member of the Basilio family, but he's been a curmudgeon since he was 20.
I mean, he goes, I wouldn't do it. Why? Well, for one thing, Matt, it's fun. For another thing, Matt, it's fun. And for another thing, Matt, it's going to be something to feel good about. Why would you do that? Well, I mean, for one thing, it's kind of fun. You talk about a commodian. All right. All right, Beanstar, without further ado, you're kind of the man. Give me, by the way, 28 likes with 180 people watching over on YouTube. You guys are givers. Hey. I mean, what can I say? You talk about a group of people that gets up every day and just gives and gives. Givers. My compliments to the chef. Givers. Beanstar, go ahead. Who's back number one? You do one, I'll do one.
We're doing top. Did you say top three, Tony?
I want your favorite run. I want your the best running backs in your lifetime, Bino. You can go 3, 2, 1.
The ones I listed 3, 2, 1. Tony, Travis Henry was 3. Leading time rusher. Spent a lot of that time sharing with just great running backs who were on campus at the same time as he was. Number 2 is Jamal Lewis. Just an absolute beast out there. Pretty much an unstoppable force. Number 1, and you would have just had to see it because you can't look at the numbers, but I think the best running back I've ever seen here was Chuck Webb, who we only got
let's go
for basically one entire season, and he shared along with Reggie Cobb in the one season.
Chuck Webb, Bino, is the James Dean of Tennessee football.
He was just a comet, just there and gone. But man, what he was when he was there.
Yes. Tell me why Travis Henry made your list, Bino. There's a lot of guys out there you could have chosen from.
Oh yeah, there was, Tony. I think it's just not only the ability, but the stick-to-itiveness that he had. Like I said, he was there during a crowded period. Lot of good running backs, but he's the ultimate stay-and-play guy. And then, later in his career, the job was basically all his. But there was nothing that he couldn't do. He had good speed. He wasn't huge, but he was a strong running back. Ran like a bigger running back on the field.
Yeah, he was unbelievably strong. And the play was not over till you got him on the ground. I mean, you had to see that. Kind of a low center of gravity guy. It was unbelievable, really. And that day where he landed on his neck, I've never heard a crowd more quiet in my life, Bino. You ever heard Neyland Stadium more quiet than that day he hit his neck?
I don't remember it being any quieter than that, Tony.
It was ominous, man. And my list, Bino, three is Charlie Garner, who I would have loved to have seen him get more of a shot to carry the ball, but he was a great player here. Another guy in a crowded backfield. We had so many great backs in the 90s. Hugan the other day said that The Athletic wrote a piece where they've looked at like the last 60 years of college football, and they deduced that the sweet spot for major college football was the 1990s, Bino. That was the golden era. Tennessee had a golden era of running backs during that time, which was one of the reasons why they were at the top of the sport for 10 years. I mean, think about that.
Absolutely, no question, Tony. And that was running back time too in the 90s. And as it was, as you said, we rarely had one just horse of a back through those times. Generally, it was a tandem or a trio. In the case that you're talking about, when you had Hayden Stewart and Charlie Garner, that just we just had an embarrassment of riches, or however you say that.
Well, I'm back to you having, correct me if I'm wrong, in your top three in your lifetime, two guys that were in the same backfield. You didn't have Cobb in your three, did you?
No.
But you had Travis
Henry, Jamal Lewis, and Chuck Webb.
Did Travis Henry and Jamal Lewis overlap?
Let me look real quick, Tony. As you know, my years run together.
I want to say they may have.
Travis was here 97 to 2000.
They overlapped.
And Jamal Lewis was here 97 to 99. So absolutely.
They totally overlapped. In fact, Tennessee was so good they lost Jamal Lewis for the year, who's my number 2 back in my lifetime here. There's so many great ones. So many great ones. And then my number 1 back, obviously, is Chuck Webb. And again, to the kids, I would encourage any kid listening to turn the Cotton Bowl on. Tennessee and Arkansas. And the Arkansas that you see in the Cotton Bowl is not the Arkansas of today. Don't let that skew you. And I don't mean skew you. I mean skew you. That Arkansas bunch back then was a formidable football team with tons and tons of great players on the field. And I mean tons of them. And this guy put on a show. Another game to look for if you want to see just how brilliant of a running back this guy was the UCLA game in '89, which is up on YouTube. And again, don't let the UCLA of today fool you. Another game would be Colorado, 1990. Don't let the state of Colorado today skew you. There's a skew and there's a school, and I don't want either one of them to happen to you. But there we are. Chuck Webb was a guy, if he would have stayed healthy that year in '89, we would have won a national championship. There is very little doubt about that. I'm sorry, 1990. Tennessee would have won a national championship with him. Tennessee's offense was so good back then. It was unbelievable, Andy. So fun to watch, too. What a great era. Bino, your golden era, college football in your life, in your lifetime. The 70s were fun, Bino, but not enough of it was televised for you to call it a golden era. The 80s, the late 80s were great because you had all that cable television. But, man, the 1990s were unbelievable. Your thoughts? What would your golden era be?
Yeah, and I'm my opinion is skewed by when Tennessee kind of came back into prominence, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it would be from 85 to the end of the 90s. That's probably my favorite period of college football ever.
Yeah. There's something magical, too, about that mid-'80s. I think if I was going to put a golden era, I'd go mid-'80s to mid-'90s, or fit that 15-year period from the mid-'80s to the end of the 90s. There was just something about, I don't know. It's hard to describe. Today, the game's still great, but today's game doesn't feel the same as it once did. And it'll never feel that. I don't think it ever feels that way again. Still great, though. But I'm talking about a different, and that's sort of what The Athletic talked about. You still had this. I mean, the NCAA was still like clapping back at people that cheated. And SMU gets a death penalty, and they're still the investigator side of things in the old NCAA was really fun. It was like so-and-so's cheating. Mark in Columbus said it last week. Those Ohio State losers are already premedicating themselves for what's going to happen Wednesday. And they're saying that Tennessee has cheated to get this guy. All right, Bino, who's your third favorite? Then we go to the phones.
Favorites, Tony?
Give me your third favorite. Just one of them.
Travis Stevens.
Ooh, that's a great one.
And it's for me, Tony, it's more of what we've already talked about. There's another guy that came in 97. Travis Stevens came in with that same crew in 97. Now, do you think in today's football, that I could have Jamal Lewis and Travis Henry in my top three and a Travis Stevens as one of my favorites? There's no way. Only one of them would be here.
And that's what's sad. And you're right. Because if you can play, you're getting picked off a roster. And here's the other thing. In what those guys meant to those games back then, what were those guys worth in today's economy? Well, Lottie freaking Dottie. If a Jamal Lewis after his freshman year, and I've always maintained this about Jamal Lewis, he is the most NFL-ready human being I've ever seen at the age of 18. I remember telling Bino after going over there and interviewing him like in the late 90s, or when he got there in 97, standing next to him, huge arms, huge legs, huge. Walked off the school bus, okay, ready to play in the NFL. Literally could have played in the NFL at the age of 18. You can laugh at that if you want. The guy was so physical as a freshman. Freak show physical. And a really good dude, too. We've had Jamal on down through the years. There is very little doubt that he was pretty gifted for this. Let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402. And remember, Travis Stevens hung around and had the game that sent Steve Spurrier, chased him out of Gainesville. That was an unbelievable football game. Let's get Roberto in here, who's up next with us. Roberto, welcome in.
Well, Broader, Bino, thanks
What's up,
for being
man?
there, guys. Tony, I know you've been doing this from Philly all week or the last couple of weeks. Thanks for doing that, man. We need this
Sure.
in our market. Hey, as far as the best, you guys have already said it too. It's Chuck Webb. I was 8 years old in '89. He was first team All SEC, and it was a blur watching him play football. Just watching 44 streak down the sidelines. He's the best athlete. I could argue him or Heath Schuler are the best athletes I've ever seen on that field, or Dale Carter. And they were they not all on campus around the same time? It's crazy.
Oh yeah, the 90s were unbelievable.
I miss it. You guys nailed that too. It was different back then. It was more fun. I mean, I was young, so whatever. But that, and then the coolest, my favorite was Reggie Cobb. So in '89, can you imagine? David Cutcliffe was a running backs coach 1 year in his career. It was in '89. I happen to know that. And he had Reggie Cobb and Chuck Webb in his backfield. Can you imagine how good that is? And he found out through a friend of a friend that Reggie Cobb was my favorite player, and he lived down the street from me. He brought him to my house and introduced him. And Reggie Cobb gave me a game-worn sweatband, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. I still have it.
Wow.
You talk about
That's
hooking
cool.
an 8-year-old kid. That sweatband has cost me tens of thousands of dollars. It's like hitting a good golf shot. But
Who are your three favorites? I mean, give me your three favorites.
Cobb, number one, just because of that moment in my life. Favorite, I love James Littleman Stewart. Local kid, makes good. I mean, he was the Morristown guy. I think when he left, he was the all-time touchdowns leader at UT. Could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Love James Littleman Stewart. Over the top. And then my other favorite was Greg Amsler. I loved him. He was awesome. He was like a bull in a china shop in the backfield.
I love.
Those are great ones.
Yes.
Well, thanks, Tony. That's all I really had. I love the subject. Whatever Matt said, if he said don't do it, he's just being a curmudgeon. See ya.
Matt's the worst. Matt will be in tomorrow, by the way. What, Bino?
He's the worst. He'll be in here tomorrow.
Matt's kind of the man. 865-200-5402. You know, the thing is interesting. Not only did Travis Stevens stick around, Bino, but I'm being reminded by somebody that was around the team back then that he actually went to the coaches and asked to be redshirted in the midst of all that. Imagine today, if you grabbed a star quality guy and you said, "Hey, man, you're going to redshirt." By the way,
I'm getting ready to go to Alabama.
We spin the hits in honor of DGG. It's DGG week, and we're spinning the hits, and we're going to hear Bino's second favorite running back. And we'll get into my list as well, because my favorites, my favorites are a little bit of. I miss the old fullbacks. I miss the old fullback, but I want to remind you that my friends at High Noon, you know, it's High Noon somewhere, might even be here. And today, who knows? Maybe we do a High Noon overtime, but our High Noon hotline, David Eckert joins on the other side. Then we'll get some more calls in. David Eckert, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Somebody from the 615 area code, Bino, just sent me a Cobweb Attack sweatshirt, and I'm going to send this to you, Beanstar. Check this out. In fact, I might just tweet this out. I'm going to tweet this out. But Bino, I sent it to you. See if you got it. Let me try this again. Yeah, there it is. Thank you to that person for listening to the program. I'm going to tweet this out. This is fun. Cobweb shirt. We continue on the other side, 865-200-5402. Through the timeout, ladies and gentlemen, David Eckert, Texas is the team in the crosshairs this year. They're the team with the title. They're carrying the belt into the season. I don't care who they pick down there. I don't care if they pick Georgia. Texas is the team with all the pressure on them coming into the year. The whole Arch Manning thing, the whole deal. And I'll tell you something. I don't trust those guys. I don't trust them. Do you? So we continue with more after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Tona B, inviting you to experience the Collins Insurance difference. And what's that? How about multiple top carriers that you can trust? Like Erie, they underwrite our entire Rainier studio and everything around it. Travelers, Hartford, Hanover, Progressive. We do what's right because we care. In today's technology-driven world, maintaining the human touch, Bruce Springsteen, is one of our main focuses. We deliver the best customer service humanly possible. We give you someone that you can actually call or sit in front of. Imagine that. No call centers here. Experience the Collins Insurance difference. Check them out at collinsinsurantetn.com, and they're Mrs. B approved. Collins Insurance. TB with a few serious questions. You feeling tired? Foggy, you gaining weight, or you just don't feel like yourself anymore? Hormone therapy is finally becoming mainstream, but it's truly something my man, Dr. Tom Rogers, has been doing for over 20 years. Dr. Rogers at Performance Medicine wants you to feel your best, and he treats both males and females. So guys, we can do this as a family. At Performance Medicine, hormone therapy is personalized to you. If you're dealing with hot flashes or mood swings or low energy, decreased libido, fatigue, muscle loss, stubborn weight gain, it might be time to find out what your body really needs. No shame in this game. You can do something about all the above. Performance Medicine offers customized hormone treatment plans based on comprehensive lab testing with options like pellets, creams, patches, oral medications, and injections. The goal is simple. Help you feel like yourself again. Next level. Make your life better. Take it to the higher plane. Visit performancemedicine.net. Schedule your consultation today. You'll feel your best with Performance Medicine.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got two locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org. And both locations, we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders. Fly with Calhoun's wings or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces. Award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Only 3 homestands remaining for your Knoxville Smokies. Some of the best promotions are still to come. Join us next week for a jam-packed week with all-you-can-eat Wednesday, Knox Vegas Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers. On Friday, let's continue the fight against breast cancer by painting the park pink. Saturday, we honor one of the founding members of the Negro Southern League, the Knoxville Giants. And Sunday Fun Day to end out the week. Get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Knoxville Smokies.
Nothing makes you realize how much you rely on your air conditioner like a scorching hot day in East Tennessee. You want more than a technician. You want someone you can trust. Schedule Pipe Wrench's $79 AC tune-up now because the heat is here. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 AC tune-up today at PipeWrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit PipeWrench.com for details.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexial Kristen.
Hey, Tony. Good to see ya. Connexial builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the #1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexial.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexial, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
David Eckert joining now on the High Noon Hotline, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Basilio, Bino, Jeff Henderson back with you on a Monday as David Eckert now joins on your High Noon Hotline. David, hope you're well.
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
David, what's your level of fired upness, focusedness, and preparedness for this SEC Media Week thing? Do you care?
No.
You're a smart man.
I'm the world's leading SEC media day cynic. Like,
good for you.
You don't get anything out of it. I don't know. So yeah, no, I'm I would say on my scale of 1 to 100, I'm at about maybe like a 7. You know, it's not high.
Hey, Bino, give David your line from roughly 1 hour ago when I quizzed you regarding your level of interest in this thing.
I couldn't think of more than 10,000 things right off the top of my head that I'm more interested in.
I mean, David, and here's the thing, and I get it. It's easy content for people, and these, if you want to go stenograph coaches and regurgitate it out to people, fine. But these people that do what I do, that go down there and just obliterate their listeners with this mind-numbing nonsense, isn't it sufficient enough to say, hey, the SEC media meetings are here. Hey, it's a sign that college football is almost upon us. And we'll look at where the media picks these teams and who gets heralded in terms of which players, individual players, get heralded as first-team players at week's end. Isn't that kind of sufficient? I mean, to me, what else matters?
No, I mean, nothing. Look, I understand it in the sense that, okay, here's an opportunity for the league's 16 coaches to get on television and get on a stage and say, here's why I'm excited. And you know what? I respect that. I think, that has a purpose. It doesn't have a purpose to me because it's just, 20 minutes of salesmanship, right? But, I'm with you. Those are all the things that you listed are the things of value that have come out of it. And, from my perspective, right, like there will be like a little local scrum with just the local guys. Every coach does that. And you can get some good stuff there. But at the same time, I mean, Steve Sarkisian's going to do that 30 times before the season starts, So it's I get why we do the song and dance, but it's not my favorite.
David Eckert joins. You've been drilling down over at 247 where you cover the Horns and trying to go inside of Texas's really talented roster. They're pretty loaded, aren't they?
We think so. Yeah. It's I was doing an exercise the other week where it's like, I can't really find a flaw, and I mean a flaw, like a real flaw, without being a little bit intellectually dishonest. So, I think they're in really good shape. There's a couple of question marks for sure. I think every team has those, but this is a really well-financed roster, and I think it looks like one.
The offensive line, obviously, last year sort of got away from Texas. You just wrote a piece. This time around, it seems like they've been able to address that in a big way. Yeah, I mean, definitely. And whether or not that rebuild succeeds, I think is going to define their season. They went and they get, the big addition is Melvin Siani from Wake Forest. Played left tackle there and was awesome. He's going to play right tackle for Texas, and that allows them to move Brandon Baker, former 5-star kid who started for the first time last year, inside to guard, where they think he's a better fit. They retain their center, Connor Robertson. They're going to play another transfer at left guard, we expect. That's with Lawrence Seymour, experienced kid from Western Kentucky. And then they return at left tackle Trevor Gooseby, who probably would have been one of the first 4 or 5 tackles off the board in the draft had he gone out. So it looks good on paper. I don't love their depth. I think if they have some injuries there, they might have problems. But I think, again, on paper, and this is a unit where a position on the field where cohesion and how guys work off of each other really matters. So we don't know about that yet. But it looks good right now. The really interesting thing is Texas right off the jump goes from the frying pan into the fire because two of the most talented rosters in the nation, two of the highest paid rosters in the nation, two of the most physical football teams from that regard in the nation are going to face each other. Last year, Ohio State sort of exposed Texas, and Texas sort of exposed Ohio State. How key in your mind is it, especially for that offensive line, to perform well in that game? Because again, if Ohio State's able to manhandle them at the line of scrimmage, or you have some missed assignments, I mean, from a Texas standpoint, I would think there'd be a lot of trepidation coming into that game, wouldn't there?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that game really matters because for all of the reasons you just said, and I also think it matters because I think what happened last year was, you go and you lose on the road to Ohio State in your first game of the year, and it really, like, from the start, all of a sudden it's like a million degrees in the room. The pressure is, hey, you can lose one more, and then you're done. It's just ratcheted things up instantaneously. Because usually, and I don't know the inner workings of Tennessee's schedule, so I don't know how they do it. But most teams, I think, you're kind of just walking through the flower fields for the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yep.
Right? Maybe.
Yep.
And so when you extend that, you extend the pressure by playing a team like Ohio State in week 1 and losing. That's hard on you mentally. And I think the game's in week 2 this year, but I just think they've really got to just get over the hump from the start, because I think it's going to be tough on them from a mentality standpoint and a pressure standpoint if they don't.
Look, you're inside the thing, okay? But from 10,000 feet last year, you could see, and these are kids, like we forget that, right? Sure, they're making lots of money, but you could see that it had a psychological impact that stuck with them on that football team last year. You could see it, and it spiraled. And even though, it was like, whoa, these guys really aren't very good. It's and it really hurt Arch Manning too, didn't it? Because they had to sort of turn it into a sort of a dump off offense, get rid of the ball quicker, and that's kind of what they did, right, down the stretch.
Yeah, they did, and I think two things kind of happened down the stretches. One, they got rid of the ball quicker for sure, but they also they changed their offensive line around a little bit, and it finally, I think, kind of migrated from like disaster to just bad.
Yeah,
which helped him a little bit too. But yeah, Arch was not good, and your listeners know this, right?
Yeah,
Arch was bad first 5-6 weeks of the season.
Yep.
And the offensive line played a huge part in that. I think Arch played a huge part in that, and I think just the ecosystem, like what everybody had to say, and all these guys can say that they don't read it and it doesn't matter, but it does. Like, come on, and I think that just kind of got on top of them and wouldn't really let them up off the mat for a while too. So,
how much pressure is there inside the whole Texas apparatus on these kids from the fans, the boosters, etc.? And is there here at Tennessee, when it's great, it's great. But when you start slipping and sliding a little bit, I call some of our fans twidiots because they have to go after kids,
Yeah.
How tough is it on those kids to play for the Longhorns with that storied tradition and all that comes with it? When you slip, say if they slip against Ohio State early in the year, how much do they hear about it?
Oh, it'll be uncomfortable, because it's not acceptable to be number 2 here ever, and in anything. And so, when you don't win, no matter who it is, no matter the context, no matter what's going on, you hear about it. And I think, I actually think Texas fans are okay when it comes to coming after kids. I don't see a ton of that. But I will say, I think for college football at large, like the whole NIL thing, the fact that these kids are being paid now has kind of become an excuse to tee off on them, you know, when in reality, like, yeah, they're making a bunch of money, but that kid's still 19. You know, you probably shouldn't say that. So I think there's some of that. Things have probably gotten a little worse when it comes to that over the last 5 or 6 years. But, you know, look, if you don't win here, I don't care who you are. It's uncomfortable. And, you know, they're not going to say, oh, it's Ohio State. They're really good. It's okay. No, that's not how that works here. So, yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable if they don't get that done.
David Eckert joining us. He covers the Horns for 247. I'm going to let you give the coordinates out here momentarily. But in the meantime, Bino, Jeff, jump in here to our conversation. A really key opponent for Tennessee early in the year, sort of an opportunity for the Vols, a game that, you know, you kind of look at and go, well, you know, that's kind of a loss. But then again, who knows? It's early in the year. It's a noon start. It's 11 o'clock Texas time when the ball kicks off, which always adds a little intrigue. It's Arch Manning in Neyland Stadium. It's Peyton Manning wearing a maybe a garment that Kenny Chesney would be proud of. Of course, Kenny likes to wear one that's got all the SEC logos on it. But Bino, I digress. Go ahead, my friend.
Hey, David, I got a two-parter here for you. It seemed like that Sarkisian got in a couple of off-season scrapes that maybe he could have avoided. One question is that him getting in game mode? Is that just who he is? And the second part of the question is what is his real standing down there among the Texas faithful?
Yeah, it's the first question is interesting because that is very much not who Steve Sarkisian is. You know, I mean, if there's a guy, and you guys know this, the vast majority of college football coaches do not want to say anything. And Steve Sarkisian usually falls into that camp. So it was weird for him, you know, to do the Texas Tech thing. It was weird for him to make that Ole Miss comment. I don't know. I honestly, I interpret just those as like, you know, maybe he just slipped a little bit in those moments because honestly, like that's not his style. But for your second question, I think he's in really good shape here. You know, I mean, you guys look, the demands are what they are. And, you know, if he keeps going 9-3 for, you know, Bo Pelini style for forever, things will start, you know, being a problem for him. But you got to remember what he took over from, which was a complete mess. And, you know, he's got them back contending on a consistent basis. And, you know, I think if he doesn't get to the college football playoff this year, maybe we can start talking about things being uncomfortable. But for now, I think he's in good shape.
With the retooling of the offensive line and adding a Cam Coleman to that receiving core, do we see the Arch Manning that a lot of people have hoped they were going to see?
I think so. And you know, I think you're going to see one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in college football. I really do. Because he looked that way, you know, once people kind of gave up on him a little bit and just maybe took their eyes off a little bit, had made their conclusions. He looked that way, right? The last 5 or 6 games of the year, this kid was awesome, and now he's got the tools, right? He's got the offensive line. He's got what we think is one of the 2 or 3 best wide receiver cores in the country. He's got 2 awesome running backs, which he did not have last year either. So yeah, look, if he can't do it in this system, I mean, he's out of excuses. But I think that he will. I think he'll be great.
Dovetailing on Bino's question, how important is that Ohio State game from that perspective, from just the Arch Manning perspective alone, for him to play very well in that game?
Yeah, you know, it's an opportunity to say, hey, this is who I am now, right? Because last year, right, that everybody was expecting all of this greatness, and when they didn't get it, that's when the hurricane kicked up, and it, you know, everybody's got something to say. But like I just said, he has made progress. Whether you've wanted to see that after making up your mind on him or not, like he's made it. But now he's got to go do it against that defense, against that team. I think that he will. I don't necessarily know that he's going to throw for 400 yards, but I think he'll throw for 250. I think they'll have a good game.
This is the rest of the country owes Texas and Ohio State a big, big thank you for playing each other and playing it on home fields.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. And, one of my favorite things about the athletic director here, Chris Del Conte, is that he is determined to play those games. In fact, he wants his opinion on the college football playoff expansion is based on the idea that if you expand it, it gives you more leeway to play those games. They've got Notre Dame on the schedule. They're going to play Michigan next year. So, yeah, I think Texas, every year, their goal is to have one of those games. I think last year, the fact that, they didn't really seem to get that much leeway, I guess, from the committee for having to go to Ohio State and lose that game, I think has maybe impacted their calculus there a little bit. We'll see. But if that proves to be a one-off, I think they'll keep playing them because that's their philosophy.
David Ackert, Horns 247 is joining. And the truth is that if you want to go with the thought that this is like professional sports, or as I call it, unprofessional sports, because the way they do their business is totally unprofessional, but these kids are being paid. And so if that's the case, then I want to put together a schedule that is of value to my fans. And Bino hit the nail on the head. The concept of taking a game like this and playing it in Jerry's World, or in Ohio playing it, up where the Bengals play or whatever, is really, really sad. I loved that last year's game was right there in that stadium in Ohio. This year's game is going to be right down there where the Texas fans want blood after what happened last year. And it is going to be a focal point of the early part of the season. And good for Del Conte, picking up those great opponents in years to come. That, to me, only makes the sport better. I want to go back to something you said earlier, since we are focused on the Longhorns here. You said there really aren't weaknesses, but there are question marks. You talked about the offensive line. Could you unpack maybe a couple other just question marks that you have that are sort of lingering that you got to see to believe here, work themselves out for the Longhorns?
Yeah, I don't think we know what they are at tight end right now. This is a program that has had very, very, very good tight end play for years, and I'm not sure that I really see it. They went and got a transfer, Michael Masunis from Michigan State, but he's kind of like your prototypical blocking tight end. He doesn't really play a role in the passing game. So I don't know if that's going to be a position that, hey, in this situation, it's this guy, and the other situation, it's another guy. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like they've got a stud there. I have questions about special teams, where they were, despite having maybe the country's best punt returner in Ryan Niblett, bad last year again. Mm-hmm. So, they've got new faces all across there, which is, a question mark. And then I think I feel good about their secondary, but they're relying on some guys who we know are talented, right? But they're young. You got to see them go do it. So I think that's especially too because with Will Muschamp coming in to replace Pete Kwiatkowski, they're playing a different style of defense. They want to play in your face. They're going to play press man coverage. They're not going to try to keep everybody in front of them like they have been for 5 years here. So whether those young guys and that defense as a whole can kind of execute that evolution, I think is also a question mark.
Man, Muschamp's excellent. That's a great hire. You know that?
I think so.
Yeah, it's a great hire. Yeah, and the truth is, when you start talking about Texas the way you are, you look at their schedule. We all do this, okay? You David Eckert, the season is successful if the Longhorns have what record at after 12 games?
A record that gets them into the college football playoff: 10-2, 11-1, 12-0.
What about 9-3 and they sneak in?
Yes, but I don't know. I sneaking in at 9-3. If there was a team that deserved to do it last year, it was probably them. And
it's probably true.
Happen. So,
isn't that weird, guys? David's got a good point. I mean, talk over you, but you guys were talking about that Ohio State game. It's almost like they got penalized, last year for playing that game in a sport that should reward, like Tennessee for playing at Georgia Tech. You should be rewarded for playing these intersectional games and keeping that flavor of the sport alive. Shouldn't they want to reward that, Bino? I mean, when you think out loud about that.
They absolutely should want to reward that. But David's right. I mean, if they didn't reward you for a loss at Ohio State, if Texas loses this year and they finish 9-3, they're not going to reward them for that. But you should be rewarded. Exactly. You should be encouraging that type of matchup, kind of like they do in a basketball tournament, rather than causing people to keep from scheduling them.
Hey, David, I got a comment from a guy over here on YouTube. I want your thoughts on this.
Sure.
And this is from the great Nick Jackson. Now, I do call some of these people that double dip over on Twitter twidiots. And I don't really have a name for these YouTube folks just yet, except sometimes I call them morons and imbeciles. But anyway, Nick's Music City Sam's not one of them. But he says the following. He says 4 of Texas' last 6 games were against the worst defenses in the SEC, and the other 2, they scored 10 and 27 points.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair criticism for sure. The schedule was kinder to them toward the end of last year, but I thought that they played really good offense against Michigan, and that's a very good defense despite the year that they had.
Yes.
I thought again. I think the 27 points he's talking about is probably Texas A&M, right? And they played well in that game too. That's a team that was undefeated coming into that game. So look, I get it, right? It's not a guarantee. It is not a guarantee that Arch Manning is going to go be off. I just think, given the progress, given the weapons, and given the obvious tools, he's going to go do it.
By the way, that same Nick Jackson shout outs Ward Manuel for the fraud that he is, and said that if he wasn't at the center of that selection committee, they probably do get credit for that Ohio State game, which is, you hate to say that politics enter this thing, but I think he could be on to something there.
Maybe. Oh, politics, 100%. Like anybody who doesn't think that that's happening is off their rocker. It just is. And, I don't know if that specifically, like Ward Manuel doesn't like Ohio State, so he's not going to credit Texas for playing them tough. I don't know if that's happening, but there are 100% guys in those rooms advocating for their guys. That's just how it is.
David Eckert, I've always found you excellent, informative, entertaining. You don't care, which I appreciate. All those things add up to you being an excellent guest on here and make you compelling. So from that perspective, tell the living listener how they can follow you, get involved, etc. And I appreciate your time.
Wow. That's as nice as anyone has ever been to me. No, I'm just kidding. Horns247.com is where we've got all our coverage. If you want to be bored to death by me on Twitter, David Eckert 98. So
you're the man. Thank you, brother. You have 98 because it's when the Vols won the national championship, right? It just moved you.
Of course, I was
you.
Moved to tears.
Thank you, David.
Hey,
Good
David,
good
I want you
talking
to know something on
Yeah.
the way out. There's
Yes,
a
sir.
bunch of real old Tennessee fans like me that are still mad that you broke out the wishbone on us down there in the Cotton Bowl the last time we ever had a chance to play you, that have been waiting, I don't know how long, 50-something years to play Texas.
Well, now you're just giving me a story idea. So that's great.
There you
Check it
go.
out. Get to hold some old ball fans. They'll tell you.
Yeah, reach out. I'll get you Bino's digits. Thank you, my
I'm even
friend.
mad that you guys got UT.
Yeah. everything about your existence, David Eckert pisses Bino off. So
I'm sorry, Bino.
Hey, thanks, David. You were great.
Thank you, my brother. Bino, there's been invariably the thing that's great about college football, and Laura and I laugh about this behind the scenes, but we also love it, is that the passion involved in this and you better cheer this way or you better not cheer that, whatever I'm trying to say. There's a conversation going on among the YouTubers. Hypel Disciple. Is that you, Bino? Hypel's Disciples. Is that you?
No, that is not me.
Okay. He says, look, I love Peyton Manning, but I'm going to say this. If he's not wearing the right shade of orange for that game, he shouldn't be allowed in the stadium. Shouldn't be allowed in his box. They should look at Peyton Manning and tell him, we will see you next week. And he's been going round and round. Peyton should be denied entry in Neyland Stadium, he says earlier, if he's not wearing UT orange. Bino, isn't it great that we have that kind of passion in college football? And wouldn't Manning himself say to that guy's comments, that's great that you feel that way? Don't you think Manning himself would get a chuckle out of that, Bino?
I think he probably would, Tony. And that I mean, you know, our passion boils over at times in the wrong directions. I personally, you know, I've always been a family first guy. And I'll never question Peyton's loyalty to this university or this program. I don't see how anybody could.
Do you know what that brain donor Matt Dixon told me a couple weeks back when I brought this up? And I'm on Manning's side on this, okay? He said,
yeah, I think he told you if it was his son, is all right. But a nephew?
Yeah, nephew's not family. Can you imagine that, Bino? A nephew's not family?
No, that I can't not imagine.
I mean, I'm taking my great nephew later this week to a Philadelphia Union soccer game. He got into soccer during the World Cup, and we're going to go see an MLS match against the Seattle Sounders. And I'm looking forward to spending time with him. And you know what? He's my great nephew. Bino, is he family to me? My great nephew?
He is.
Yes. And if he was out there, I'd be rooting for him. If he was playing for the other team, I'd probably wear the other team's jersey. Matt Dixon, you clown. Ripping Peyton Manning. That's a disgrace. 865-200-5402 if you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us. And in the mix and in the hunt. Here's the thing. On the other side, I got to ask Bino a question. We had a little fact and a figure jammed into the blog today. By the way, Orange Throat, great job. You set the table really nicely. Todd, wonderful job with the Laydown Lineman Trophy, which is on display over at tclub.team. Bino says he's forward the Laydown Lineman Trophy. Absolutely forward it. So it's media week. Heupel today is going to meet the media for the 6th time. the media day in its current form, it used to be the Sky Riders Tour or Sky Writers Tour, whatever they called it. Bino, did people pay attention to the Sky Riders Tour back then? Was that a big deal?
Yes, that was a big deal, Tony.
And they would get in an airplane and fly city to city and just get blasted with these coaches and get stuff to print. And that's kind of was the Sky Riders Tour, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I believe it was during one of those where one of the riders told Steve Kiner that it looked like Ole Miss had a bunch of horses this year. And he said, well, some of you all don't know horses for mules. And they talked about Archie Manning. And he said, Archie who? And Ole Miss was waiting on us down there with an ambush of a lifetime.
None.
Because of those comments.
Yeah. And I mean, none of that goes on now. Nothing with a pulse. Nothing. These guys are so coached. It is so staid. It is so fake. It is so boring. But Heupel's boringness is real. That's real. No offense to him. But it gets back to Heupel. Here's the deal, Bean. I'm going to ask you this on the other side. I want you to think about it. Josh Heupel, believe it or not, is now third on the all-time Tennessee list. Bill Martin dug this up. Third on the all-time Tennessee list in media day appearances. Fulmer had 15 of them. Would have had 16, but there was a subpoena, if you'll remember, as one radio host once said back in the day. Bino, am I a trip for pulling subpoena out of my rear end here? Yes or no?
You've been on a long time, Tony.
He said subpoena. And the other thing is, he did a commercial one time talking about a sirloin steak. A subpoena and a sirloin are my two favorite things. But he had a subpoena, and he didn't show up, and I forget what the subpoena was about, but he definitely had a subpoena. Laura's shaking her head right now. I know she is. Okay. So Fulmer had, shout out to the late, great Mike Carver. I used to love when he called Fulmer Fulmer. Fulmer had 15 appearances. Johnny Majors had 8. This is Josh Heupel's 6th media day appearance. Bino, on the other side, will Josh Heupel break Johnny Majors' record of 8 SEC appearances? Will he break the record and get to 9? This is a 6th. I asked Bino that question, and then we kick around some of our favorite running backs. Bino's got his all-time favorite Tennessee running back in honor of DGG Week on the one and only, as we continue with more right after this. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times. 80 proof of vodka delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka. T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka. Distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got 2 locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org, and both locations we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. Personally, I'm partial black cherry and pineapple. 14 flavors. That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week. In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon Vodka Iced Tea in 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half. Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon Tequila Seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, Blood Orange. High Noon Real Vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. Heading for a High Noon overtime. Shout out to our friends at High Noon. You just heard Mash Eric. Listen, our guest appeared on the High Noon hotline today, David Eckert. Tomorrow, as it's DGG Celebration Week, it's kind of unbelievable, isn't it? Bino's right. We're leaning into it here. We're going to have some fun with it. Sue me if I play too long, you know? Donald Fagen. But shout out to our friends at High Noon. Brought to you by your High Noon Spirits Company, 21 and over, to enjoy responsibly. Say it, know it, and write it down, living listener. We're going to go back to our phones. Before we do, though, Bino, I shared with you, and by the way, if you want to call in, 865-200-5402. Before we get to Bino's second favorite all-time UT running back in honor of DGG Week, Beanstar, Johnny Majors made 8 SEC Media Day appearances before his career unceremoniously and abruptly had an untimely demise sort of out of nowhere. Will Josh Heupel break Johnny Majors' record of 8? He has 6 right now after today. 8 SEC appearances. Bino, what say you? Bino, Jeff, what say you? Laura,
Tony, I'm going to say that he ties the record at 8.
Ties the record at 8. To the Twittiot out there, I will ask that question tomorrow. The 3 answers will be he won't get to 8, he ties the record, or he breaks the record. To some of the YouTubers, what do you say? Tie the record, break the record, doesn't get to the record? We're living in such a volatile era that if he goes 8 years, that's a great tenure here, Bino, isn't it? And when you think about what he came into, it's a great tenure.
It is, Tony. That's at a place like Tennessee, in the modern climate. If that will mean that he will coach 9 seasons here. So yes, that is a very good run. I don't see Josh Heupel being here double-digit seasons. At a place like this, I think it takes greatness to get to double digits, and I think that Josh is a really good college football coach.
Yeah,
but falls short of a great football coach.
Bino had a listener at Calhoun's. This is when I knew Bino was a real one. And a guy got mad at Bino because Bino said Josh Heupel's a really good coach, but he's not special. And the guy basically confronted Bino about it. And he said to me, "Can you believe Bino said that?" And we were standing there together. And I said, "Bino, did you say that?" Bino said, "Yeah, I said that." Because, I don't remember anything. And I looked at the guy and I said, "Well, I agree with Bino. I think he's really good." Special. Let's see. Who are special? Kirby Smart's pretty special. Lane Kiffin's special, but in the form of spout, like when you look at some of your friends and you go, "Boy, he's special." Nick Saban special. Spurrier in his day special. Who else, Bino, when you think of guys special? It's like the Hall of Fame and the Hall of Pretty Good. Heupel's pretty good, Bino, right? And pretty good's pretty good. Pretty good is certainly better than, good or some of these awful guys.
The question, like I categorized them the other day, I think it's a lot like Brent Venables. I think they're both really solid football coaches. The question is the perception of their ceiling lofty enough for fan bases as passionate as Oklahoma and Tennessee's?
It sort of goes back to it and Nick Jackson's right. When you start talking about special, that's a really short list. It's not a dig at him, though. Bino, Fulmer, special? Won a national championship here, Bino.
I think that we had basically something that very few universities ever see. We kind of had back-to-back generational football coaches with Majors and Fulmer. I guess Nebraska did it with Devaney and Osborne. You just don't see that very much. And I told you at the time that Fulmer went out, and I wasn't a Fulmer fan at the time that he went out, but I thought we had been so fortunate to have two football coaches for like a 36-year period that we were getting ready to put a revolving door over there, and unfortunately, that's what's happened.
Yeah, Bud Wilkinson, Barry Switzer.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult to do that. Now, Rodney Kraft is in here trying to punch at people saying Tennessee settled for Josh Heupel. No, they didn't. They got lucky with Josh Heupel is what happened. The AD tried to hire James Franklin, for crying out loud. Bino, you imagine, and was going to pay him like $90 million. Can you imagine, Bino, watching James Franklin's offense?
Hey, listen, regardless of what happens for the remainder of Josh Heupel's tenure here, I will always be grateful for what he did, what he pulled us out of, which was without question the worst situation in Tennessee football history.
Commissioner Bockwinkel said, Tony, really in the special category, we ought to do this with John Adams tomorrow. We ought to have a special list and a special list. I think Adams would really excel at that. Don't you, Bino?
Oh, yeah,
and do you think
that's right? That's in his wheelhouse. That's his hot zone in that.
And Will Adams, Bino, will he put Fulmer in the special category like you just did?
Yes, maybe with a different emphasis.
So we're going to do an overtime today, a high noon overdrive overtime coming your way. Say it, know it, and write it down. Now, tomorrow on the blog over at tclub.team, you've been waiting for it all summer. It's our first Hoops check-in, and we're going to do these periodically throughout the summer, but it's going to be our first real look, and it's a real look at where the roster is, where it's going, what these guys look like, the good, the bad, and there's a little bit of ugly, but not a lot. This team's really going to run. I think you're really going to find it interesting. I'm running it by some of my hoop sources. I'm getting good feedback on it right now. And also some added few little nuggets to add because I respect their opinions. In the meantime, that's over at tclub.team where we got you today, where we're going to continue our conversation. In the meantime, the playbook with William Patterson's on the way next. If William Patterson's a stock, I'm buying. I'm buying. And here's William Patterson now.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
It's high noon somewhere, sun's up, and it's time for another High Noon Overtime. The place where we kick back, pop a top, and really get to the bottom of it. Presented by High Noon Hard Seltzer. Made with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added and it's gluten-free. Live like the sun is always out. And now, it's time for High Noon Overtime.
Bino, your thoughts on today's radio transmission now that it has come and gone, my friend?
I think we had fun today, Tony. It was a good visit with David to get some Texas perspective, and
yep,
we've had a lot of fun discussing these running backs. I've enjoyed it.
Your number 3 favorite running back, Bino, was
Travis Stevens.
All right. Your number 2 favorite running back, Bino.
Tony Thompson. You can tell, Tony, I like grinders. I like if you say you'll play kind of guy. This is a guy that showed up on campus in 1986 and did not play in 87. Then he's here in 88. He gets a total of 46 carries when he's been over there for 3 years. Then in 89, he looks up there and he's got Cobb and Webb in front of him. And he's got Webb coming back for 1990, and Webb gets hurt, and I'm thinking, I'm marking Columbus. This is over. And Tony Thompson steps in there and gets 219 carries for almost 1,300 yards from that point on. And just guys that grind, guys that stay, those are the guys I remember.
That's a great one. And who's number 1, Bino?
Johnny Jones. He's always been my favorite Tennessee running back. Always will be. Mumford, Tennessee, Mumford High School. He was part of a group that brought Tennessee back into playing competitive football after what seemed like a long drought. But another guy that was unassuming, played with joy. Tennessee's the first Tennessee running back to ever have a 1,000-yard season.
My third favorite running back, Bino, and I'm going to shout him out here, is Jalen Hurd, who got lost in the Butch Jones sauce.
Yeah.
In Butch Jones's mismanagement. Got extremely dinged up. Look, we're learning a lot about CTE and its effects, okay? And the cavalier attitude toward, well, you're okay, just go back out on the field. This guy was in a dark room for like a week. It was during this time, the fans kind of, I don't say they turned on him, but it just was not handled right by Butch Jones. When he played, he was extremely productive. When he played, well, he was a part of that winning streak that the Vols had. All those amazing things that they did, some of those great moments when they got out to the 6-0 start. And Jalen Hurd deserves to be seen better by us. He was a really unique, very good talent for his time, and he did everything they asked of him and more. And he's 30 years of age now. And I don't think that Jalen Hurd is appreciated properly by the Tennessee fans. And I wanted to give him a shout out here and give him some love. What do you think, Bino?
Good for you, Tony. No, I think that's well stated. That's fantastic.
My second favorite guy, Josh Vaughn mentions, is Sean Bryson. I've always been partial to fullbacks. Reason being, football, like the game of world football, some of you aren't going to like this, is a sport where you have to be connected. Hockey's another sport like that. If you're not connected, play's going to break down. You've got to be connected. The reason yesterday that Spain shut down a high-powered Argentina team is that on defense, those guys were connected the entire time. The reason Tennessee was able to defeat a great, not good, a great, if not elite, if not national championship caliber Florida team in 98, in maybe one of the great games the stadium's ever seen, if not the greatest game it's ever seen, was that team was completely connected. 1 through 85. That team just had unbelievable chemistry. Bryson is so emblematic of that. And everything, look, and I'm not making this about professional football, but Bryson went on and had a career in the NFL where he got featured some. He played fullback here. And he did it without bitching. And he had the big run in that game in 98, which resulted in the definitive play of the game, essentially. And it couldn't be more apropos. The guy didn't bitch about not getting the ball, even though he could have gotten the ball on that team. He certainly could have gotten the ball more than he got it. I love, and I mean love me some Sean Bryson. I would take him 7 days to Sunday, Bino. Any day of the week, I would take him on my team.
Love Sean Bryson, Tony. Love the old fullback position. You talk about a sacrificial position where you just basically serve your teammates for very little reward with carries. That was fullback. And I that day when he broke through that line against Florida in 98 and came running toward us in that north end zone, I basically hyperventilated watching him run.
Yep. You know, Andy Ford talks about thinking back to Jalen Hurd. If Butch Jones was competent, they had Jalen Hurd and Alvin Kamara, Bino, in the same backfield. With John Kelly on that team. Yeah. Can you imagine if the guy would have been a competent head coach? The guy recruited his ass off here, Bino.
Yeah.
And he's an example, though. He's an example of just because you get great ingredients doesn't mean your food's going to taste good. But that 98 team was so connected, Bino. Offense, defense. You and I started the season last year with Al Wilson down at Calhoun's. And that team was just so connected. A bunch of head coaches, a bunch of coaches, a bunch of guys who have gone on and been pretty successful in their chosen fields were on that team. A lot of leadership on that team. And that Bryson guy, Bino, was a great leader.
Yeah, just a lot of intelligent, driven people. on that roster.
Yes. And it matters. It matters in this era. It matters in any era. It's still a sport where you've got to have guys like the Eagles right now are debating whether or not to pay Hurts the money. And that's a tough thing when you get there as an NFL franchise. Because once you pay one of those dudes, you're kind of married to them. And they sort of tiptoed on the line, and this is their kind of make-it season for him. How, Bino, do you throw back a quarterback that's had all that success? How do you do that? You're a Colts fan. How do you do that? A guy that's gotten you to 2 Super Bowls, won multiple playoff games, wins pressure games all the time. Sure, he's surrounded by great players. How do you do it, Bino?
Yeah, it's an impossible task, Tony. It's impossible to say goodbye to success, past success, and someone that's been huge in getting you there. It's a tough decision.
By the way, 3 coaches at Oklahoma between Wilkerson and Switzer. So yeah. I misspoke on that. Thank you very little. Bino, you had a good poll earlier. Generally, when that legendary coach goes, you don't get a guy in that second seat that takes the ball and runs with it. Nebraska really
USC had
yeah.
McKay and Robinson, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, John Robinson. Yep.
Did Stoops? No, Stoops didn't follow Switzer. There was Blake or somebody in between there, right?
Yeah, there were some buffoons and losers in the middle of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing to look at. The other thing that's kind of fun and fun to consider is my number one guy. And Bino, I don't know why I loved him so much, but man, I can't wait for Matt Dixon to answer this. The 3 best in his eyes, and then his 3 favorites. And he's younger than we are. And I want guys you saw in your lifetime. I want to make this kind of fair, you know? You only comment on things you kind of live through. I mean, yeah, we could all include Johnny Majors on that's great, you know, but I didn't see him as a running back. Bino didn't see him as a running back. I know he's a great player.
I didn't see him, Tony. I'm guessing that none of your listeners saw him.
Interesting. I'm going to say my favorite, and Matt, close your ears, is the Canadian Wildfire himself. Because when he stands up there Wednesday night and he looks right into that camera and he says in his French Canadian accent, let's GEAUX, Rodney, you resident LSU goofball, eat your heart out. GEAUX Vols, Rodney. You complete goof. Bino, he vaults to my number 1 spot on the dial. He is number 1. Number 1. Because I'm living in the moment. That's a man that is going to energize this town unlike any other. DGG Fever will absolutely take over this town. It is like a spreading wildfire that only grows. Every day it's in my soul. It's wildfire. It's a great Daryl Hall song from like 1993, Wildfire. That's a great jam. I might have sent it to Bino later. Him hear that white boy sing some soul. Bino, your thoughts on me putting DGG GG number one before it even happens. Did I just jinx DDD?
I'm hoping you did not jinx it, Tony. You fooled me after all of these years. I did not see that one coming.
Go!
You're actually not living in the moment. You're living in the future.
Josh Fall just said an Ohio State fan DM'd DGG and viciously ripped him after UT got a crystal ball for him. You talk about things not surprising. You give an Ohio State fan a chance, and they're showing their ass every time. And they suck. Best thing about the interstate is that it goes north. It's my favorite feature of that interstate. And if I had my way, W or Lynn, they'd get on that interstate and they'd be going back to whence they came. Bino, Jeff, do you have any other thoughts here on the way out as I have DGG number one on my all-time favorite? My all-time favorite running back list on DGG week. I know Bino's going to say that's a recency bias, but this kid's getting ready to revolutionize offensive football here.
Tony, I guess I've just got one final comment. When some of us said, you Yankees get home, go home, and don't come back, we were not talking to you.
Well, I talked to Laura last night, and again, she was glowing. She was rosy, Bino, last night.
She's enjoying her staycation?
Yeah, she's enjoying her peace and quiet. Now, she's going to come to the beach with the Famiglia here in about 2 weeks, but, she's sort of counting down the days of when I'm going to be back. She said, she told me last night, she said, it's weird having things straightened up around here. My brother, we are the odd couple, Bino. You've been in my brother's house, how everything's like a museum. It's in its place.
Yes.
Bino, is that how you would describe my dwelling that I inhabit?
Well, no, Tony, I would not.
Go! Shout out to Michael Martin Murphy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play me some Wildfire, too. That's a great jam in the key of E. Really great song. Little E major 7 riff that thing starts on with the 7th is just, God, it's beautiful, man. Bino, were you a Michael Martin Murphy fan back in the day? Because that's a little bit of rock and roll. It's a little bit of folk and a little bit of soul. A lot of soul in Michael Martin Murphy's music.
I like Wildfire, Tony, but I wasn't an in-depth Michael Martin Murphy fan.
Got a lot of thought-provoking music.
I was a music snob.
Yep.
I didn't listen to many white folks.
Celtic Drew totally agrees with my analysis that DGG this week belongs right to the top of that list. Now, do you think Matt Dixon, who believes in jinxes, Bino, is going to enjoy me putting him at the top of the list?
Oh, Matt may have to hit the button on himself tomorrow.
Yes. Matt's liable, or Laura might be hitting the button on Matt tomorrow. He's liable to call me the F word before it's over, Beanstar.
yeah, if he hit a button at home, he probably would have had to hit it.
Hey, Dixon, I want you to know, though, between us girls, it's nothing I haven't said about you behind your back, big boy. Bino, do you
And
find
since
this
when
show?
does Matt think you shouldn't be on the air? That guy's been on the air half of his life.
God! Matt said, you heard it. He said, don't do the show Wednesday. I'm like, we always do a show when stuff like that breaks out. Doesn't matter whether I'm here, there. I mean, when John Ward passed away, Bino, I was at the beach a moonlit night. We took calls for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Didn't we jump on the air on my vacation? One of my sponsors told me, said that's very unhealthy, man. I said, well, what was I supposed to do? It's what we do here. And John Ward's a man. You got to get on there and celebrate his life. Bino, I love you. It's unbelievable. Anything else you would care to add? Shout out Rolly Poles. Tomorrow we'll pick up that running back. Listen. It is the geophysical week of the back. Because when the back picks Tennessee, Tennessee is what? When the back picks Tennessee Wednesday, 5:30 Eastern time, Tennessee is, fill in the blank, Bino.
Back.
Thank you very little. Bino, do you have any other final thoughts? You're the man.
Love you, Tony. Be safe up there. Have a good week. And go Balls. And come on, DGG.
Go! Like he said. And by the way, shout out to our friends at High Noon. I love you, High Noon. Appreciate you jumping in and sponsoring our extra time. 21 and over to enjoy responsibly. Remember, High Noon, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out. 14 flavors. They've got several different brands as well of High Noon. 14 flavors of the High Noon hard seltzer. They also have High Noon vodka iced tea, 6 refreshing flavors. And you can also check out High Noon's line of tequila seltzer, 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, blood orange. Be a blood orange moon on Wednesday at 5:30. Maybe even a total eclipse of the heart. There, Bonnie Tyler. Love you, appreciate you. G to the B to the O. Thank you, Laura. And thank you, Bino. And thank you to all the great, wonderful listeners. Thank you for hitting that like button over on YouTube to our YouTube takers. You help us grow when you hit the like button. Thank you. We love you. G to the B to the O. We have 82 likes. That is a damn embarrassment. But hey, you do you. I'll do me. Love you. Thank you.